Chapter 8, this final chapter, is on how do we actually live emotional chastity. We're going to go through a series of tips regarding that. Chapter 7 was on redemption and really spoke about the need of hope here and the need of being encouraged that with Christ all is possible. With His grace, we can live this beautiful journey of love and get to that authentic gift of self for the other. We can with His grace. So practically speaking, what are those key nuggets, you could say, that I can give my life to or begin giving my life to that will help me form and educate myself in integrated human love? The first, I would say, is just to remind ourselves that we need to think about the law of gradualness. Right? We talked a little bit about this in other chapters, these stages of growth that we are needing to go through. What is emotional chastity again? Let's reflect on that. Emotional chastity is a habit, right? Habits are formed over time, over repetitions. A habit that harmonizes my head and my heart and directs them towards the good of the other in authentic love. And that harmonizing is a process. Emotional love is gradually formed by practice. Practice makes perfect, right? It's a little bit of a training ground that we have to enter into to get better and better at it. The stages of growth are marked, of course, with imperfection and a lot of human weakness, because that's what we are. We're weak people. Yet with commitment, it does bring the sweetness of peace and freedom. What are the components of living emotional chastity? We're going to go through some of the key building blocks of living emotional chastity in our life, and it begins first and foremost with personal reflection. We need to strive to be men and women who have interiority, who are capable of introspection. And this matures through self-discovery. If we can know, understand, and accept ourselves, the likelihood of us knowing and understanding and accepting other people, especially those that we love, goes up. There are key aspects to developing personal reflection in this chapter and also in the appendix that I really want you to hone in and spend a lot of time on, because I believe this is really the platform for authentic love and definitely emotional chastity. Secondly, the sacramental life. We talked about the power of grace in our life. Emotional chastity will be difficult if we don't live in grace, if we try to live without grace. Sacramental life is God's life-giving water to our human spirit. It's like quenching our thirst for more. He desires to reach our humanity. He desires to reach our will and our emotions and all that we are, and He does that through the sacraments. He does that through those human and sensual realities that the sacraments bring us in contact with, so grace is communicated to us where we need it the most. The more we are connected to the life of these sacraments, the life-giving grace of the sacraments, the more good habits will develop and grow strong within us. Next, we have life-giving relationships. We're going to mature in emotional chastity as we mature logically in our relationships. Healthy relationships reform human life and reform our going from selfish to selfless, right? That's what happens when we enter into relationships. It begins to reform our not so good parts into what is best in us. Such relationships authenticate the deep calling in us, in me, to give the very best of myself. Hence, good friendships and good community are essential building blocks to life-giving relationships. We need them desperately in our life. Next, life-giving behavior. I define this as, if authentic love is about the other, then I will want to serve this other with the best of who I am. When we serve the other person, even in romantic relationships or not, it affirms the value of myself and the other. That's what life-giving behavior does. When I serve another person, it validates who they are as I am good, I have value. Serving others is going from self-discovery to other discovery. So life-giving behavior is so central to the formation and training in emotional chastity. And lastly, the power of intentional gratitude, that being grateful is transformative. It is so key from going from a me-centered tendency to a mindset of an other-centered tendency in life. When I'm grateful, when I'm thankful for the blessings in my life and for these relationships and friends that I have and what they do for me, so transformative is intentional gratitude. Finally, in our study circle, I really want you to spend some time, as I mentioned already, on personal reflection. There's some really good tips there on how to develop personal reflections in your life, and also going a little bit deeper on how to develop silence in the appendix. So hopefully it'll be good resources for you to have an awesome conversation. Thank you.